Talking
I know you're
about
watching.
free throws.
Yeah, because Shaquille O'Neal was notorious for missing free throws. Like if I were the coach and if I were coaching Shaq, I'd probably bench him over that shit. Be
Yeah.
like, listen, son, like I get that you're a monster and all you have to do is stand under the goal and that's awesome. But like you gotta have at least, for Shaq, I'd give him like a 75, 80% shoot rating before I let him play again. But like you gotta have at least that. You gotta
It
have
does
at
seem
least
like a really easy thing to do. Like
you're
if that's
professional.
all you do. Like, I mean, how many free throws do you think Shaq took in his entire career?
I don't know, a lot, and he missed a lot of them.
And he missed most of them.
To have a 90% free throw shooting record is really hard. Like I'm not at 90%, but I'm also not uh, at a professional level yet.
Right.
So I'm not getting paid like $35 million to shoot free throws.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly.
if I did, then I would be waking up at fucking 4 in the morning every day, and I'd be shooting free throws for fucking, I don't know, 6 hours a day at least until I got close to 90%. And I feel like just a couple months of that should get you pretty close. If you
Yeah,
do
you
that
would
every
think
day for
if
three
you went out
months,
and practiced it and like treated it like a job, put 8 hours in every single day, you get
yeah,
really
I would
good
wake
really
up
fast.
early and do it. Yeah, do it with your early morning workout, and then go out there, shoot some free throws, blah 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 blah. Maybe take a break, and then because when you're a professional, you got to be doing like at least two workouts a day. I feel like you got
Yeah,
to do a morning and an
no doubt.
evening, and if you
You got to
really
run,
want to go crazy, you're doing
get your
three.
cardio up.
Yeah, but like if you're struggling with your free throw game and you're a professional basketball player, I mean, you got to spend a couple hours a day on that, right?
At least. I
I'd
mean,
be a
you
mean
would. I would
coach.
just sit there and like
I'd
have
be
somebody
real.
pass
I
me
would
the
be
ball
real.
over and over again.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how you get good at anything. Repetition.
Exactly.
I'm still here. I'm just making some tea.
What kind of tea are you making? I guess we'll
This is
find out in a
Greek
minute.
Mountain tea.
Some
Greek Mountain.
some Greek tea.
Yes.
It
Greek
came from
Greek
from
Mountain.
Greece.
It's actually from Germany.
Oh, okay. But it's a
It's
mountain
Greek
in Germany.
Mountain tea. I don't know. It's weird. It said on the bag that it's from Germany. This is from like a specialty tea supplier that I go through from the job that I have, and I I have to order in bulk when I order this stuff, and I had everything that I needed, and a little bit extra. So I still had to put another tea on the order. So I was doing a little
Yeah.
bit of research, poking around a little bit, and I found this one. It's a Greek Mountain tea with lavender. That's kind of the kicker with this is they did like flavor it with I think like a lavender oil or something. But fortunately, they didn't go like too crazy with it because it's really easy to go too much with lavender, especially if you're doing like an oil where it
Right.
just overflows the flavor, and all you get is just like way too much like floral. Like that's gross. This one isn't like too bad. Um, but yeah, apparently in Greece and other areas around there, there's a like a flower, like a plant that they make tea out of. It's a non-caffeinated tea, so it would be considered like an herbal tea, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's very light,
So
a little
like
bit floral with the lavender.
when you drink coffee, like do you go decaf on coffee as well?
Sometimes it's hard to find good decaf, but I roast decaf. That's good. The key to having good decaf coffee is you got to get typically what's called like a water processed.
Right.
So a lot of decaf is like chemically processed, where they like chemically separate the caffeine out of the bean, but it leaves behind like a chemical residue, and it's just not as clean tasting. So like Folgers or like any kind of big name like decaf, it's gonna be gross. But if you go to like a specialty cafe and they have like a water processed decaf, and if they roast it well, it can be almost as good as regular coffee.
Right.
Not quite. It still loses like a little bit of flavor. It's not quite as bold. It's tamed down a little bit because the way the water processes generally work is before you roast the coffee, they will take the beans and they'll soak them in water and God, how do they do it? There's a couple different ways that they can do it, but generally they'll just soak the water and then they'll run that water that has absorbed a lot of the nutrients and caffeine out of the coffee. They'll run it through like a carbon filter, or there's a couple other things that they can do with it, where they naturally separate the caffeine molecules out of that water, and then they put that water back into the beans, and then they let them seep and then reabsorb like everything.
So they're like doing chemistry to like make decaf coffee, basically.
Yeah, it's a whole process.
Sounds like Heisenberg.
In fact, it's called,
like there's a Heisenberg of decaf or something.
Yeah, it was a Swiss person. In fact, they called it Swiss water processing is the big one that you hear the most of. There's also like mountain water processing and a couple others, but the Swiss was the first one that really like made it kind of mainstream. Swiss water processing, Swiss water processed decaf. It's some really good shit. I've only known about it for I've only known about it for about 5 years, so it's a kind of newish thing. Oh, dude,
man, I don't really see the point in drinking coffee if it's not caffeinated, you know? Like you just like the taste?
Yeah, that's part of it. I used to feel the same way. But yeah, sometimes I just really want coffee. So like sometimes coffee, the caffeine in it affects me like a lot, where I get like, wired and jittery and like all that shit. Or sometimes it doesn't affect me at all. Like I can literally drink a whole pot of coffee, be totally fine, not really feel it. In fact, maybe even fall asleep. So if I'm in a situation where it's like, 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I've had a lot of coffee and I'm kind of feeling those jitters or whatever, but I still want some coffee, it's like a taste thing, like, or like I want another cup of coffee. My body wants it. It's I'm craving it, but I know that at that point, if I'm already jittery and stuff, that another one's just gonna give me like anxiety and shit. So rather than going for the regular, I'll reach for the decaf. So it's like maybe like a once a week thing for me. I don't drink decaf regularly, but every now and then I'll reach for a decaf. It's usually when I've had too much coffee, but still want some.
Yeah. Typically, if I do like 2 cups of coffee, that's like too much for me, basically.
Yeah. I mean, shit's fucking strong, man.
One's pretty good.
They say that that coffee is like, so like if you don't drink coffee regularly, like if you or caffeine, so they say if you quit caffeine for like a month or 2. And then you drink like a full cup of coffee, like it'll fuck you up. It'll like fuck you up. Like they say that it can give you like almost like psychedelic effects if your body's been, if you've been deprived of caffeine for long enough, and then you get like a nice caffeine filled cup of coffee, it can really get you going.
A nice cup of coffee is a good thing to have every once in a while. I usually start my morning with a cup of coffee if I can,
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a coffee guy. That's for sure. I ebb and flow with it. Sometimes I'm, you know, just drinking shit tons of coffee all the time. Sometimes I don't really think about it, and I don't really at all. Right now, I'm in a phase where I'm drinking a shit ton of coffee, like pretty much every day. But today, I have not. I don't know why.
So is
One of
that
those
like,
days,
do you
haven't felt like it.
try to just kind of drink water like throughout the day mostly, or do you drink like soda pop
No,
or what?
yeah, I got this Nalgene here, and I fill it up. I'll drink like 4 or 5 of these of water a day.
What kind of water do you
Lots of
get
water.
usually? Do you get bottled water or like out of the tap?
I do tap water, but I filter it. I got a filter. Right now, I got a pitcher. I got one of these guys. These are okay, but they don't get all of the fluoride and chlorine and chemicals and stuff out.
Oh, okay.
This
So
one
that's good.
advertised, they well, they said that they did on this one, but they don't. It gets like, I don't know, maybe like half the chemicals out, which isn't like totally ideal. Um, I'll probably at some point, because I just moved into a new place, I'll maybe try to install like carbon filters. I think work pretty good. Actually, the same filters that they use to decaf coffee. In some processes, they use what's called a carbon filter. They say that gets like 99% of the stuff out,
Yeah.
but they're pretty expensive. And also, I have to make the decision of, do I want to install a carbon filter like that hits everything in the house, like including like the shower head and stuff. Like I want to do that, but that's also going to be like really expensive, and they also need to be replaced, somewhat regularly. So I'll probably just start with maybe just a tap that has a carbon filter like on it. Maybe I'll like install it on the tap, and that would make me feel a little bit better. The place that I work at, we use a carbon filter on a specific, on not just a specific tap, but actually all the taps that go to our coffee brewing machine. So like our espresso machine and our coffee makers, and we also have a water tap. Those are all hooked up to a carbon filter.
Oh,
Get that
nice.
clean water.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Get all the chemicals and
Yeah.
stuff out of there.
Yeah, there's a water guy that came in like the first like month of us being open, and thank God he sold us on the idea. I was already about carbon filters and stuff, but it was nice hearing it from like another guy who was like a professional. He talked to the owner of the business, and he talked him into it, which was awesome. It just means that I didn't have to,
Right.
because that's the type of thing I would want to talk about. But I didn't have to. Someone else did it for me.
That's great, man. Yeah, it's always a good idea to be able to, go with the very best kind of thing when you're serving the public.
Yeah, and
You
water
get those good
too, man. I mean,
beans,
just, you gotta have clean water.
Yeah. Clean.
Yeah, it really disgusts me how, as an advanced country as ourselves, that like clean drinking water is still like not available for everybody. Like it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, there was like a documentary about that when I was a kid, like Michael Moore dude. Do you remember him? He like did a whole documentary
yeah,
about
he
how
went out.
shitty his water was.
Well, he did Flint, Michigan, was what he was covering, and they
Yeah,
got
Flint,
like
Michigan.
the worst water.
Right.
I think they're still fucked. I still think that despite the entire country knowing that they have lead in their water, I think they still have lead in their water. Like I don't think they fixed it. It's fucking nuts. I love
That's
that
gotta be
scene.
terrible.
So Michael Moore, I like his stuff. Like I know people like to hate on Michael Moore, and I get it because he is like over the top and just like whatever. But I like what he does. I think it's cute. But there's a really funny, obnoxious thing that he did in that documentary, because I think it's in Michigan, So he goes to like the governor's mansion, and he filled up like a truck with a tank on it full of like Flint, Michigan water, and he drove up to the governor's house and he hooked up a hose to the truck with the water tank, and he started spraying it on the lawn of the governor's house, and he's like, drink your water, take your water back, we don't want this shit, like, if you want this water, you drink it, like,
You drink your water, pal.
and then and then he went to like the courthouse where they do like the legislation and stuff, and he was like walking around with like a glass of tap water from Flint, just like to random people, and being like, well, not random people, but like legislators and stuff, and being like, hey, here's some water from Flint. You wanna take a sip? And they're all just like, yeah, no. But they all had valid excuses. They're like, well, you're just a random guy who's offering me a random cup of water. Like, no, like, I'm not just gonna, like, if someone just walks up to you is like, here's some water from Flint, drink some. Like,
Drink
nobody
some Flint
is
water.
gonna
No
do
thanks,
that.
bro.
Like,
You hand that shit back.
or
to
even if
them.
you didn't say it was from Flint, if someone just walks up to you and they have like a pint glass full of water and they're like, here, drink this,
Right.
you're gonna be like,
Ugh.
no. Like, so I get the point that he was making, but it was just stupid. It is just a stupid fucking demonstration. The same thing with him bringing the water truck to the governor's mansion and like spraying it on his lawn. It's just a stupid show of,
I had
just
kind of
him being
forgotten
pissed
about
off
that movie. I remember it was about how shitty the water was there.
Yeah,
It's been years, dude. I was literally
he did
probably
another
like 10
thing.
when I saw that.
He did a really great movie. It was called what was it called? It was like it was right after Donald Trump got elected, and it's called like the 9/11 movie, but it's not about 9/11. Fuck, I gotta look this up.
It's like, I can't remember.
It had nothing to do with 9/11. It was a Fahrenheit 11/9 is what it's called. So it was a play on Fahrenheit 9/11.
I don't remember.
So that was 11/9, I guess, was the election. Yet no one really saw it. I don't think it kind of slipped under the radar. And again, Michael Moore has a reputation, so it's not like people are rushing to see Michael Moore movies. But it was really well done, and I think it still would probably hold up today for the most part. But it basically was right after Donald Trump got elected, and he's basically documenting like the aftermath of like electing a guy like that. Like, what happened? How did this happen? Like, what the fuck? Like, that, it's very like looking at it like kind of like from like an idiocracy point of view. Like, how did we get here to where we now have like a TV personality being the leader of the free world, like, type of thing. But then just when you start thinking that the whole thing is about like hating on Trump and like all that, he starts fucking tearing into Hillary too. Like, even though she lost the election, and he's like, fuck, like, she's a monster, like, she's awful. And then he documents how she like stole the nomination from Bernie Sanders from the Democratic convention. Like, he documents all that. So like when you're watching the movie, at first you're thinking like, oh, this is just like an anti-Trump movie, but really the whole thing is just an anti-politics movie that's just saying like, look at American politics and like what a fucking circus it is. The whole thing's rigged, everything's a shit show. And you leave the film like pissed off.
Right.
Like when you finish that movie, you want to like go out and like, set your local courthouse on fire. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't set the courthouse on fire.
I didn't
Wasn't
set
me.
it on fire.
Shaggy defense, wasn't me. The old Shaggy defense.
The old Shagster. Man, so what do you think about Tyreek Hill scoring fucking 33 points in fantasy today?
Dude, it was more than that. I think he was at like almost 40. 38?
215
I guess it depends
yards,
what league you're
2
in.
touchdowns.
Dude.
It's like Madden numbers, bro.
Yeah.
That's insane.
He said he wants to do. He's aiming for 2,000 yards this year. Is what he said.
Well,
Cheetah.
that was a hell of a start.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, Tyreek Hill is like, right? Like, he's so fast. He's so good. He's wide open down there. They're just throwing him the ball like mad. Man, it has been something already, and it's just been the first.
Yeah,
game.
dude, there's this one play where he picked up a just like a couple yards. I think it was like a 3-yard play or whatever. But the announcers were like, had that been anybody else, that would have been like a break-even play or a loss, maybe maybe a yard. But they're like, it was a one-on-one. The defender was exactly where he needed to be. There was really nothing he could do. It was just like a speed thing. It was a short pass. He got the ball and he just fucking took off. And it was only a short play of a couple yards, but like those add up.
And he's healthy. That's a big deal too. Like, he's healthy. He's in the prime of his career right now. And man, he is fast. He is just faster than everybody else.
You said potentially his last year, didn't you say that?
I believe I heard that this is potentially his last season, that he said he wanted to finish his contract out and retire, and this is the final year of his contract, so I assume that means he's going to retire at the end of this season.
So if that's his thinking, he's going to go all out this year.
Right. Especially like if he's in his prime, And here's the thing, scoring a lot of points like that on offense. Well, first of all, they played the Chargers today, and you kind of should be able to take advantage of the Chargers. Yeah. But scoring a lot of points on offense like that, and him flying down the field like that, and keeping the offense off the field is really good for his quarterback. Like, Tua is going to benefit from that just because Tua is not going to take this punishment that he's so used to. They've got to maximize on their speed to kind of make up for the shitty offensive line, and it worked really, really well today. I think they're that was a high-scoring game. Is actually maybe all improved a hair. Man, that's really close to the Trevor Moore hat. It's not quite the Trevor Moore hat, but it's close. It's like the Trevor Moore.
So this hat is as close as you can find to the Trevor Moore hat. I know this because I've been searching for this damn hat for about 1.5 years now, close to 2 years. I've contacted, so I know where he bought it. He bought it from a Ralph's grocery store chain, who is an affiliate of Kroger. So Kroger owns Ralph's. I contacted Kroger and Ralph's. They're all the same people, but I did contact them both. They told me that I was crazy, and no, they don't have it. So it was a discontinued product. I was like, okay, well, where did y'all get it from? And the manufacturer is a business called Swim Outlet. Swim Outlet. And in fact, you can still see that hat. I believe you can still see it in their catalog. But it was from their catalog from like 2 years ago, at least, maybe even longer than that, maybe 3 years ago. It was in their July catalog from 2 or 3 years ago, and they discontinued the product. They just don't make it anymore. This hat is the exact same hat from Swim Outlet. It's the same manufacturer. The top part is the same. This part. So that top half is the same. The bandana is the same. It's a tie-on strip. The difference between this one and the Trevor hat is the brim. This is a wide brim. His was more of like a cow. Let's get my camera. His was more like a cowboy hat style, kind of like that. But the brim wasn't as long, and his didn't have the strap on it. I don't think it may have had a strap, but I don't think it was a blue one like this. So this is as close as you can get. This is from Swim Outlet, the people that made the Trevor hat.
So that's as close as you can get on the market right now to the Trevor Moore hat.
Yeah, unless they ever re-continue the old one, yeah, this is the closest you can get. This guy. And I like it. I like the wide brim. I think it suits me good.
I think so too. It's a good look, you know.
Thanks.
His was more of a cowboy style thing.
Yeah, his was like more like this.
Right. Yeah.
But not quite as long of a brim.
Yeah. Yours looks like you're doing it at the beach or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I live near a lake, like very near a lake. Like I could walk to the boat dock from where I live right next to a boat ramp. Only problem is I don't have a boat yet. I gotta buy a boat.
I think I want to get a boat too.
So
It'd be a lot of fun.
yeah, dude. This lake here is like it's super nice. It's like it reminds me of like so I'm like up in the mountains kind of, and when I'm in this lake, all you can see is just like mountains and stuff like all around you in the distance, and it feels like you're like in a volcano, not like an active volcano, but it feels like you're in a volcano that has like filled up with water, and there's like a lake up there, and you're just like floating around at like the top of a volcano. That's how I feel when I'm like floating around out there. It's really nice.
A volcano lake?
Yeah, I mean it just feels that way because of all the mountains everywhere. It feels like you're in like a mountain,
Right.
like a volcano, but like instead of lava, it's water.
That's pretty cool, man. Have you ever?
I know that's probably like a weird description, but
Have you ever swam in like a hot spring or anything?
No. I've been to Hot Springs, North Carolina, which isn't too far from here, and I've gotten in a hot tub there that's like with water from the hot spring, but I haven't actually gotten in like a natural hot spring before. Those actually kind of make me nervous in a way. Like something about like geothermal, energy and temperatures. Like I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like all it takes is just a random like fluke to like shoot out like a super hot thing that like singes your fucking skin off or something. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Not really.
Like the geysers. So like the geysers at like Yellowstone freak me out.
Yeah.
Like I think it's cool.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not to say I would never go see one, but like being so close to something that I know is like connected to like the magma of our planet,
Oh,
like
right,
kind of
right.
freaks me.
Like, what if some magma
So I feel the
shot
same
out
way
of there
about like hot springs.
and got you?
Yeah, I mean that heat is coming from somewhere,
Right.
and yeah, so that's just a little bit of paranoia thinking. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
fucking
I don't
the
know.
Earth, man, and natural forces. They're not to be
I
fucked
know,
with.
man. It's crazy to me how people go out and do really, really dangerous shit all the time, you know? Like, they go to the bottom of the ocean or climb Everest or all this stuff that will inherently kill
Dude.
them, and they go just because they say they did, kind of thing. Like they did risk, but like there's not really
You know what freaks me
any
out
payoff other
is
than the fact that you did it, sort of. It's like jumping out of an airplane.
I feel that way about or swimming in the ocean, which on a beach with a bunch of people, you know, I get it, but like I'm talking about like when you're out like on a boat and you can't see land and you get in the water, like that blows my mind. That blows my fucking mind that you would jump into the ocean where you know there's sharks, you know there's fucking critters and shit under you that you can't see. It's just terrifying, man, just thinking about that. Like I was talking to a guy who was doing that. He was out on a boat and he was swimming in the ocean, and someone on the boat was like, "Oh shit, dude, like I saw like a shark in the water." And he was like, "Well, at least I know they're there now." And
I mean, what's down there?
he's like, "Well, you saw one, but sharks." And I think sharks are kind of naturally attracted to boats as well, because you know
What's
boats
down
very
in the
often
ocean?
throw off like, I don't know.
Sharks. No, I'm gonna pull up a picture of the deep sea. Let's see.
Like scuba diving, I think is kind of cool. That's a little bit different, I guess, especially if you're like with a group of people and you can kind of see around you and stuff. But I don't know, like swimming in an ocean where you're like just out there and you just can't see, like that's just scary.
It is.
Like when swimmers are so out of our element in the ocean. Like we can do water and lakes and you know, rivers and swimming around and all that stuff, but the ocean, that's like a whole other world that we really don't belong. I mean,
Right.
the modern, you know, the Europeans didn't discover North America for thousands and thousands of years because of this fucking ocean.
Right. No, the ocean is
This
still
natural
like
barrier that
yeah,
monkeys,
it's a barrier to a lot of things.
yeah, monkeys are not meant. Yeah, so you just drop a monkey out in the ocean, and that's pretty much what we are. I feel like there's some monkeys fucking around this fucking ocean, this terrifying fucking world with like monsters in it,
1,000-meter.
like super fast monsters. Well, like the fastest fucking monsters you can think of. Like, yeah. So like, if you could like say it were reversed, say sharks could come onto land, and they were as fast on land as they are in the water, that would be like the scariest fucking thing ever. These sharks fucking running around all over the place. They'd be like cheetahs. Like it'd be fucking insane. So like to go out in the water where you can't see them, you can't outrun them, you can't really outmuscle them. I mean, you kind of can. You can sort of fight off a shark sometimes, you know, if you grab his gills and, you know, whatever, but you're still at a pretty big disadvantage, you know, with the whole like massive teeth thing. It's fucking scary.
I wouldn't want to be down there. Like,
I
even
used
if
to
you
be
had
scared of
weapons
this
and
thing.
stuff, you're still like at such a disadvantage, you know. If you had like an arsenal of harpoons and enough air as you needed, and even like a little submersible, man, like there's always a bigger fish. It's like that scene in Star Wars, you know. There's always a bigger fish.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and even with good visibility, it's hard to see. It's hard to see down there. So yeah, like you said, even if you've got your harpoon gun and you know your scuba suit and your goggles, and you can
Communicate cahoots with one another.
Yeah, there's a guy that did that too. I think he wrote a book about it.
I
Where
think that guy might have been
he
involved.
had like a mutual lady, whatever.
Poor lady. Whatever.
I'm usually when a man is fucking an